Right, so I want to show you guys just some things I'm working on with Chester. So what I noticed right off the bat is he has a tendency to be a little bit pushy with some of the obedience. So sometimes when I ask him to wait or heel or something, he's already busting through the doorway. He's already pulling on the leash. And so believe it or not, those play a role in how he behaves when people come over to the house. And so this is what I call demanding behaviors, where there's something happening and he has to kind of demand to get through the door or pulls on the leash. And so the little things make a difference when I have him out and about with other dogs and just in general when he's around people or when he's out and about on a walk. So what I'm doing with him is just we knock on the door, we practice setting that up. Now I haven't gotten him to bark at the door place, but he has a hard time going away from the door. A little slow to get there. Good boy. Good job. Now I did a little bit of e-collar until he started the journey. I noticed the e-collar was locked on a 10. It wasn't enough for him initially, so I'm up to a 15. So I'm increasing it because he feels the 10, but he's blowing off the consequence for getting off the bed. So it's not that we have to go insanely high, but sometimes we need to go a little bit up on the e-collar, especially when a dog knows the place bed and they know what's expected. We can hold them accountable. Now, he's uncomfortable to go onto this place bed. He'd much rather be at the door, but the more that you do this with him, it will become second nature. Initially, of course, it's uncomfortable because he's stressed about somebody potentially might be coming through the door, might be, we have a little bit of stress with the doorbell, which is kind of a trigger. So he hasn't barked, but I see stress. And sometimes they don't bark here because it's not their house, but we still see the stress that occurs when he hears the knock, when he hears the doorbell. And so it will become more comfortable the more you practice this with him. Now, a couple things. Sometimes dogs can't send away from the door. So if we're at the door and we're trying to muscle the dog off, off the threshold here, that's more difficult. So sometimes I'll set it up where maybe have one of your brothers go out and knock on the door, and then you're gonna walk away from the door, and maybe Chester's already at the door barking, or maybe he's just barking in the living room. You're gonna walk away from him towards the place bed. You're gonna call him to you, and then you're gonna put him on the bed. So those are two exercises. So a recall is something you'll have to follow through on. So we're gonna say, Chester, come. If he doesn't come, we're gonna follow through with e-collar. Now, if he's confused by the e-collar or just continually blowing it off, I would put him on a leash in the house. And so that way he can learn how to resolve the e-collar stimulation. The leash is a directional tool. It also applies pressure to the dog the same way the e-collar does. It's a different sensation, but initially dogs are learning the pressure on the leash needs to be taken away. And the only way that pressure on the leash goes away is when he comes to us when we ask, and when he goes to the bed when we ask. And the e-collar is coming into play as a secondary type of pressure, but e-collar alone sometimes is not enough of a communication tool for the dog, and so they're pretty persistent about blowing it off, or sometimes they just don't understand even if you're getting in higher levels. And so with Chester, I think he gets it. Even if I bump it by 5, he understands what I'm asking, but he definitely needs a lot of practice with this. And it's uncomfortable, and that's okay. Not everything we do is comfortable at first, but the more we practice, the better we get, and the better the nervous system is at handling all kinds of distractions, so people in and out and all kinds of things. So doing good. Good job, buddy.